if you're manifesting and you just feel like you could be better at it, but you don't know what to change, this is going to be the episode for you. I'm going to talk today about the 3 aha moments I had early on in my spiritual development around manifesting, that once I made a shift in those 3 things, my manifesting went off the charts. People today are like, you're just lucky. And I'm like, okay. And I'll give you a couple examples actually of some fun manifesting that I've done over the years. But I have gotten to a point of manifesting where it's not just manifesting anymore. I consider myself a conscious creator. So today I want to give you these 3 concepts to think about and to adjust so you can go from manifesting to being a conscious creator. Okay, what does it mean to be a conscious creator? It means that you're an active participant in the development and the unfolding of your life. You are actively saying, I want to go this way, I want to go that way, I want things to look like this, I'm interested in this. I'll give you an example right out of the gate, and then we'll get into the techniques of it. Right out of the gate, here we go. I was full-time RVing. That's going to come in later because I have another story that you're going to love. My ex-husband's not going to love it, but he'll get over it. So, but we were full-time RVing, me and my wonderful love of my life that I'm with today. And we're going from one campground to a different campground. And actually we were heading to fairgrounds because fairgrounds usually have hookups for RVs, or for my lovely friends on the other side of the globe for caravans. And we're driving along and I said to him, I've been seeing these bars that are opening up where you can do axe throwing. So this was a new trend. This was a number of years ago. And I said, I saw a bar where you could throw axes at a bullseye. I've never thrown an axe. I really want to do that. And he's like, that would be great. I think that'd be really fun. I was like, all right, let's keep our eye out for one of these bars where we can throw axes at a bullseye. He said, all right. So that was it. That was my only conscious creator moment. And we continued on our journey. We got to the fairgrounds. We parked. We hooked the RV up. We went to bed. I woke up the next morning and he came in. He was all excited. He goes, there's a farmer's market today in the fairgrounds. And he's a chef, so I get it, fresh fruits and vegetables. So I thought he was just letting me know that he was going to go out and get some stuff at this farmer's market that popped up around our campground. And he goes, no, that's not what I'm excited about. I said, well, what is it? And he said, in the farmer's market, there is a mobile axe throwing unit. And I'm like, get out of town. And he's like, I know. So we got dressed, grabbed a cup of coffee, shuffled on over to the axe throwing spot. It was in this like trailer that was a giant cage. And you went into the back of the trailer and they had the bullseyes set up and everything else, threw a couple axes, went back to the RV and had some breakfast. It was fantastic. Those are the moments of manifesting that I enjoy. Do those happen every single day? No. Do they happen frequently? Yes. At this point, they do. Did they happen for me in the beginning when I was first learning to manifest? No, they didn't. But if you were to follow me for like a month, you'd probably think that I had a whole lot of luck, or just whatever she wants, it like comes into fruition. Now, I'm going to interject here real quick. Manifesting doesn't work if you don't do something. I do have to actively look for an axe throwing bar. I can't just expect that to happen. That was one of those extreme cases where the universe went, oh, hey, this is what she wants, and brought it to us because it was mobile. If it wasn't, I probably would have ran into an axe throwing bar the next week and I probably would have gone. But I digress. Today, I want to talk about these 3 blocks that many of us have. You might have one, you might have all 3. I had all 3. I'll tell you about it. And I want to talk about how manifesting actually works. I want to give you an analogy that can help you conceptualize why the basic rules of manifesting work the way they do. I feel like if you understand that, then you have a very strong foundation and you can then release these other blocks. And now you're just becoming more and more magnetic, which is just another way of saying you're becoming a conscious creator, or you have become a conscious creator. See what I did there? I was a little manifesting Yoda thing there. It already happened. So, and first off, welcome to the channel. If this is your first podcast episode, welcome. This is a fun one to start with. If you've been here for a while, hello, my friends. To everybody, a quick request: hit subscribe, hit like, share, something like that. That kind of action on the channel helps the channel grow, because then more people see it, and then more people are out there manifesting mobile axe throwing units pulling up next to their RV in Indiana. Like, this is what it's all about. This is what we're trying to do. Okay, let me see. Where are we going to go with this? First, I want to talk about like attracts like, and I want to talk about how manifesting works. I've got a great analogy for that. Then I want to talk about these blocks, and really that's really it, because once you know about them, you can pay attention to them, you can release them, and then you can start to see your life get into the groove. Okay, when it comes to manifesting, the one thing I do want to say is, and you can see this in like the older movie The Secret, things like this, where the general rule is like attracts like. What's in your space, you bring about. So what you think about, you bring about. I do agree with that. But I want to take just 2 minutes, if I can, because this is a really important point for those of us who have gone through struggles and are concerned that we might be attracting more struggles because we have negative energy that we're walking through. I just want to throw this out there because this was a game changer for me when I understood this from my guide. The universe doesn't identify the energy that's in your system and go, oh, equally more of what's in there. The universe instead, and I'll explain this, the universe instead looks at the energy that's in your system and then looks at your intent and then moves you in the direction of that intent. What I mean by that is, let's say you went through something very hard. I think you heard me mention like X, right? So I've been through a divorce, very hard. When you go through something difficult, your energy field does have, heavy energy in it and negative energy. And if we go with the absolute basic teaching of manifesting like attracts like, that can make us scared, thinking that we might attract more negative energy. But this is not the case every time. Your movement through this pain or through the heavy energy is what the universe pays more attention to. Meaning, let's say someone's going through a divorce and they decide they're just going to close their eyes, bury their head, hold still, not deal with any of it, just, I'm not moving. That is the scenario where you're more likely going to be attracting more of the heavy energy. And don't panic, because this is a really good outcome here. If you take even the smallest of baby steps toward healing or toward a solution, and I am serious when I mean the smallest of baby steps, it could be writing on a piece of paper, I am healing. It can be that small. It's not the size of the step you take to move forward. It's the fact that you do take a step to move forward. So anything, a meditation, a spa day, an Epsom bath to release, any kind of action you're doing for self-care to move through the heavy energy, that is screaming louder at the universe than the heavy energy itself. The universe doesn't look at you and go, oh, that's just a big ball of negative divorce energy, so I'm going to send her more bad energy. The universe looks at you and says, that's a big ball of heavy divorce energy. She's moving in that direction. I'm going to help her continue to move in that direction. This is really important to say, because if we stick with just the basic like attracts like, and we don't understand the frequency and the actual attraction with the universe, then we can be fearful. that if I'm having a bad day, I'm going to have more of a bad day. No, if you're having a bad day and you make a decision that you're going to move forward through that bad day, then the universe is going to help you move forward through that bad day. I hope that makes sense. Thank you for that little commercial break on negativity in the universe, because people ask me that a lot, and I find that is such a valuable thing to know. Now, back into it. I know, a little sidetracked, but I think that that's so powerful for people to know. Okay, intent. Here's your analogy. When it comes to manifesting, manifesting is like a 5-year-old little brother, and you are the teenage sister, and you're in your room, and your 5-year-old brother comes in and says, "What do you want?" And you look at him and you say, "I want a sandwich." And he goes, "Okay." And he runs down to the kitchen and gets you a sandwich and brings it on up. Why? Because he loves you. But the reason why he's a 5-year-old in this analogy is what he doesn't do is he doesn't parent you. He doesn't analyze your request for deciding. And there's no decision process on if the sandwich is the right choice for you or not. He says, "Okay, you want a sandwich and I love you and I want to do something for you. I am working in your favor. I'm going to go get you a sandwich." That is my favorite analogy when it comes to the universe, is the most adorable, sweet, doting, loving little brother. Kind of ironic because I'm an only child, so I haven't experienced it, but I know enough siblings. And this little brother really is working in your favor and just wants you to be happy and wants to support you in the direction you want to go. And if the direction you want to go is a grilled cheese in your stomach, he's going to go get you a grilled cheese in your stomach to put in your stomach. So that's the analogy. Simple, but we're going to be able to apply a lot of this to that analogy. Okay. When it comes to manifesting, there's the basic rules, and I'll just cover them very quickly because if you're already this far along with me here, you probably already know them. The basic rules in manifesting is we create affirmations about something that we want. So let's say we want a little blue cottage in the woods, and we're ready to shop for houses, right? Or maybe we're not ready yet, but we've always dreamed of having a little blue cottage in the woods. We would create an affirmation, and here are the rules. Rule number 1, figure out what you want. We did. Okay. Rule number 2, we say it in the positive. Rule number 3, we say it as if it's already happened. And then I'm going to add a 4th one on there that starts to get us into these sort of advanced kind of concepts. So the affirmation would be, "I love my blue house that I live in the woods." We're saying it as if it's already happened, and we're saying it in the positive. We're saying it as if it's already happened, because if that little brother comes into your room and you're saying, "I have a sandwich in my hands," and you're holding your hands there and the universe doesn't see a sandwich in your hands, your little brother doesn't see it, he'll go, "Oh, we got to put a sandwich in her hands. And right now, like, because that's what it's supposed to be." So he'll go get you a sandwich, put it in your hands. And then it's like, there, that's complete. That fits. That makes sense. The universe is making sense of our statements and meeting us where we are at to make sure that our statements align. The other reason why we're putting it in the positive is my house, my little blue house in the cottage, is just the most spectacular house. It's perfect. It's loving. We say all the positive things. What we want to avoid in the negative is saying, "Oh, my house never has any appliances break down," or anything like that. The reason is because the universe, the little brother, hears little blue house in the woods, appliance breakdown. They don't analyze the whole statement to go, "Oh, well, what she was really thinking was." So these are the basic rules. Decide what you want, say your affirmations in the positive, and say your affirmations as if they've already happened. Now, first step to ramp this up, and this isn't even the 3 blocks yet. First stop in ramping this up would be when you say your affirmation about the little blue cottage in the woods, you say it and you feel the happiness. Feel the emotion connected to already having achieved that affirmation. That energy is 10 times stronger because that is intent energy. Your emotions around it is the intent, because it's not that it's the blue color house that you want, it's the feeling of living there. that you want. So that feeling is your intent. Just like I said with the negative intent or the negative vibe, but you have an intent to move forward, that intent to move forward overshadows everything else. So say what you want, say it in the positive, say it as if it's already happened, and feel what it feels like to be in that house when you're saying the affirmation. Okay, here's where we got to get our blocks out of the way. And these are the 3 blocks that when I learned them, I ramped up. And manifesting almost started to become, over the years, okay, it's not overnight, but over the years, my manifesting just started to become kind of automatic. And I am very good at refusing to say that the coffee maker is going to break down. Get my drift? So we get really good at it. But the first block is that we don't really let ourselves want what we want. And it's okay to be selfish. This block is the moment that I'm going to say to you right here, right now, let yourself be selfish. You have complete permission to be selfish. I'm going to say it again. You have complete permission to be selfish. We struggle with wanting things because we put self-judgment on that. We feel bad about wanting too much because it comes with a whole host of baggage from typically our childhood. And this right here, I would say, is one of the number 1 blocks to achieving your manifesting dreams, really. It's one of those things that says, I'm only going to manifest at like a 2. I'm not really going to manifest at a 10 because I'm not going to let myself feel all of these things. Now, what do we do with this block? When it comes to this block, the best thing you can do is, and I got 2 tips for you. One's easy, one's not. So let's start with the hard one. The best thing you can do is you can go back into your programming. And what I mean by that is, who taught you that wanting things was selfish? Who taught you that? What did they say? How did it come across? What was the judgment? And you can look that judgment square in the eye and say, I'm done with you. I'm done. And that's going to look different for everyone. Inner work looks different for each person, but I think just saying this out loud, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? That, wealthy people are selfish, or, okay, well, some of them are, but I digress. Or if you want too much and you're asking for too much, you're being too greedy. There's just these words out there that are really harmful. So to take some time for yourself, do the inner work in the way that works for you, shadow work. I love therapy myself. I'm huge cheerleader for therapy, and do the inner work to really address those blocks. What is stopping you from wanting that blue house? What is stopping you from wanting that blue house to be on 10 acres? Oh, did you just ask for too much? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. If you're listening to this, energetically, I guarantee you're not greedy. You're not that type. And as a matter of fact, you probably want a blue house in the woods that has a table that seats 10 people so you can have friends over, so you can feed them and have fun. And there's going to be some reason for what you want. When it comes to worrying about being greedy, we're worrying about being somebody we're not. And I need you to hear that, because I need you to let yourself be just unleashed and just ask for what you absolutely want. The first time I did this, you're going to laugh because this ages me. But the first time I said, okay, fine, I'm going to ask for whatever I want, I did a vision board, because that's another way to do this. And I was just learning manifesting, and I put a spa vacation on there. Now, mind you, I was like rubbing 2 pennies together to get by. And I put a blackberry on there. That's right. That is how long ago this example is. Within like 3 days, my mom called me and said her boyfriend was getting a new BlackBerry. Did I want his old BlackBerry? And I was like, do I want a BlackBerry? Absolutely. Yeah, that's how old this story is. And my cousin called me and said, hey, I want to go to this place in New York and stay for 3 days, and I'm going to take you with me. It's Meditation Spa Center. I was stunned. Up until that point, I felt bad about asking for things that were too expensive or too grand. But we'll get into letting the universe help us in unlimited ways. That's another one of the blocks. But we can box ourselves into that thing. So do the inner work in any way that you want. The second part of this first one is you can make your own list and you don't have to share it with anyone. If your fear of being too selfish or too greedy comes from people judging you, that's most of the time where it comes from. Keep your list private. Keep it in your mind if you want. Let yourself daydream. You don't have to share it with anybody. You know, you can want a BlackBerry, never say it to anybody, and then after the BlackBerry shows up and you show it to somebody, you can be like, I manifested this, and you can be really excited about it. We don't have to tell everybody everything that we're doing, especially if that puts us in danger of being judged, because that judgment is going to block your manifesting. So that's what we're going to do. Now, the second block that I had to work through kind of piggybacks off of this one. And that is that we try to control the situation. This was my worst one. The first one I was pretty good at because I'm a dreamer and I just want to have every adventure in the world. And so the first one I was pretty good at. That was pretty easy for me to let go. But this second one of having to let go of controlling the outcome was really, really hard. And even if you're listening to this and you're like, Bo, I don't try to control the outcome, I really want you to examine that, because we all do in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's innocently thinking that the only way we can get a BlackBerry is if we get an influx of cash so we can go and buy one, that is a block. I have to let the universe find its own way of getting me a BlackBerry, because when I put that picture of the BlackBerry with the little pin on my vision board, I said, bring it to me any way you can. The way I would have limited that is by asking the universe to bring it to me in a way, in only the ways that I know that are possible. I didn't know that my mom's boyfriend was going to be getting rid of one. So when we unleash the universe to bring it in any way that they want, they then bring the thing that vibrates perfectly with us in the best way and aligns with our spirit and our path, et cetera, et cetera. This is another one where your manifesting starts to go off the charts, because when you let go of how it can happen and you go, I release it to you, you go do your thing, and I'm going to give you an affirmation to help you with this. Then the next thing you know, you're waking up in an RV in Indiana and a mobile axe throwing unit is pulled into the parking lot next to you. What? This is what I'm saying. So we just say to the universe, and here's your statement. You just say, this is interesting. I am looking forward to seeing how this pans out, how this plays out. I'm curious and interested to see how you run with this, how you make this happen. And you're saying that to the 5-year-old little brother, to the universe. And when you can do that, when you can let go of the outcome, let go of the it has to happen, and let the universe have unlimited access to making it happen in any way they want, it's going to happen in the best way possible. Okay, let's get to the third one. This one is just me nagging you. That's it. This is just me nagging you. You have to enjoy the process. You have to, it has to be fun, almost play-like, almost just magical time. It has to be like, this is so interesting. Let's see what happens. This is so much fun. It's really important. We get really focused in to the technique and the steps and the tools. And do I write it with a pencil? Do I write it with a pen? We forget that it's the whimsical nature around it that makes the universe joyful. And we experience that joy between both of us. And then you have the best sandwich you've ever had in your life, thanks to your little brother. So the third one, very simple. Oh, and I gotta remember to tell you that this last story, which is, it's a little comical, but this story is like an exclamation point to what I just said. So let me summarize, and then I'll tell you the story. In summary, you have to let yourself want. You have to let yourself want more things and experiences and connections than you've ever wanted before. You have to put the menu out there to say, I want everything on the menu. And the universe is like, I'm going to get started. Some things will come right away. Some things will come later. And I mean, legit, some things will come later. There was a period of time where I was considering live aboard, ride aboard. What a great way to say it. A live aboard catamaran. And it was so out of my reach. And when the loan officer was like, you don't have any equity, so nobody's going to give you a loan for something that you can just float away on. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. So I let that one go. Like I said, I'm a dreamer. I like experiences. Fast forward 15 years, and me and the love of my life decide we're going to go on a catamaran ride. I saved up money. We went on the catamaran ride. We show up to the marina. The captain walks us, and it was the captain driving it because I didn't want to, walks us down to the end of the dock and points out the catamaran that we're going to get on. And it is the exact same make and model that I had my eyes on 15 years ago. So that's how the universe said, yes, you want to ride on a lagoon? You absolutely can. And I was like, oh, this is fun. Okay. Anyway, I was summarizing and then I got sidetracked. Sorry. Here we go. Allow yourself to want things. A big list. I demand of you to write a big list for yourself of everything that you want. Then when you put an item on the list, you say to the universe, the little brother, run with it. I am really interested to see how this is going to unfold, because it's going to unfold in a magical way. And then just sit back and let it happen. And lastly, enjoy the process. Remember that this is whimsical. Remember that this is one of the fun reasons why we're here on Earth. Okay, that's my summary for manifesting. Here's my story. I'll try to make it quick. I know, I'm full of stories today. So RVs have been in my life for many, many years. And we had an RV parked permanently at a campground. It was a huge campground, 300 sites. Kids had a blast. And it was in my name and my husband's name when we got divorced. So I left, went on my way. A couple years later, I'm like, you know what? I want an RV again, but this time I want to travel. So I go down to an RV store. I pick out the RV I want, and I go to apply for a loan. And they say, sorry, we can't give you a loan because banks won't give two RV loans to people. I said, what do you mean? He says, you already have an RV loan. Your name is on the other RV. And I'm like, that's my ex-husband's RV. And they said, well, sorry, your name's on the loan. So banks won't give you another loan. And then this guy who's just on the clueless side said, maybe you could call your ex-husband and ask him to take your name off the loan. I was like, sweetheart, if I could do that, we wouldn't be divorced. So he didn't get it. But anyway, I thought that was funny. So I went home, no RV. And I said to the universe, I don't know how you're going to do this, but I really want a full-time RV. I really want to. I want to just travel the country. I want to go on this adventure. So I don't know how you're going to do this, but I can feel the excitement. I can see myself in different campsites all over the country. Go at it. I am interested to see how this unfolds. Okay, fast forward about a month. I'm talking to someone and they say, yeah, you know that RV that you had back in the campground? I said, yeah, the one that my ex owns. And they said, yeah, it's still parked there, but do you remember that tree that was behind it? It was a really big tree. And back then, at the beginning every camping season, you would go to that tree and kind of talk to it. This is all they knew. I'll let you in on the secret. What I was doing is that campground, we were there for like 5 years or something. At the beginning of every season, I would go to that tree. It was a majestic tree right behind the RV. And I would say to grandfather tree, I would say, please watch over our family for this season and keep us safe. That's all I would do. I did it once a year, every year. And they said, and I'm back in the conversation with this person, they said, well, you know, that tree fell down and it fell on the RV. And I think it totaled your ex-husband's RV. And I was just sitting here and I said, when did that happen? Well, about a month ago. And I was like, is everything okay with them? Because, you know, there's no hate. It's just, is everything. And it ended up working out perfectly. But in essence, I go to get an RV. I can't because my name's on a loan of another RV. And I say to the universe, take it from here. And the universe goes, hey, grandfather tree, total this RV. And did, mind you, it was actually a positive for my ex-husband too. It was a win-win. It really was, because he was able to then move on to do the things he wanted. I don't know because I wasn't talking to him, but it sounded like that was a win for him. So it was a win-win. He got out of that loan. I got out of that loan. I went back to the RV dealer. I got my RV and I hit the road. So, in no circumstance would I have thought to myself, oh, you know what I could make the universe do is call on grandfather tree. Nope, just let it loose. And if that example is not a good enough example as to how you should want what you want it boldly, let it happen however the universe can make it happen for the highest good of all, right? We don't hold any grudges, and enjoy the process. And in this case, it was eating my popcorn afterwards. Just unleash. It just unleashes your manifesting. Okay, look at those blocks, get those affirmations going, start having some fun with it, and I'll see you next week.
This podcast is brought to you by the SAGE Method, the most comprehensive and down-to-earth intuitive development training available. Is this your year? Is it finally your time to increase your intuition, bring in more abundance, and experience the bliss you deserve? If yes, then join thousands of students across the world for a 7-week journey to uncover your natural, beautiful, and strong intuition. Visit us at thesagemethod.com for more information.